Simon & Schuster Audio presents The Size of the Truth by Andrew Smith. Read by Ramón de Ocampo. The First Day in the Hole. Being alone in the dark in a hole on Thanksgiving Day is not much fun. Or, oh well. This all starts with my first enormous truth, which was a hole. When I was 4 years old on Thanksgiving Day, I fell into a very deep, very small hole. There were things in that hole, things besides just me and dirt. Some people can't remember anything at all from when they were 4 years old. It seems like most people's memories begin when they're in kindergarten or first grade. I can remember things that happened to me when I was only 2. For example, I remember the first time I met Kareem, just after he and his family moved into the house down the road from ours. That happened when I was 2. But for years, I could not remember what happened to me when I fell into that hole. Now I can. People say I'm smart. It's not my fault, though. I never tried to be smart. To be honest, which is something I always do try to be, I stopped being able to talk after I got out of the hole. So I started school late, when I was 7. It was like being in a race, where every other boy and girl had a 2-year head start on me. At least Kareem always stuck with me, until we couldn't stick anymore. The hole I fell into was an old well. In Blue Creek, Texas, which is where I live, everyone calls the hole an abandoned well. But that's a strange way to describe a well. Nobody ever lived there and then moved out of it. It wasn't a former pet, like a dog someone leaves out in the desert because they can't take care of it anymore. So it's hard for me to understand how a well can be abandoned. What I fell into was a hole that nobody bothered to point out to me was still there and was also still a hole. A very deep one. That day, Kareem and I were running around in the woods behind his house with some older boys from the neighborhood, playing a game called Spud with a soccer ball that had gone flat. If this older kid named James Jenkins, who nobody liked and everyone was afraid of, hadn't thrown the ball so high before Kareem could catch it and yell, "Spud!" I would not have taken that last step. Which wasn't a step, to be honest, since planet Earth was not beneath my foot, and I would not have been swallowed up by a hole. But that's what happened, and I fell. I felt.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?